/data is a command that allows you to get, merge, modify, and remove the data of entities. Let's get started with get, and I'm going to explain a little bit about what data is and things like that as we talk about that. So if I was to just get the data of myself, you can see that there's a bunch of information in here, and some of this you might be familiar with from one of my previous videos. We have attributes here. Where is it? There we go. Attributes. It might sound familiar. It's interesting. And some of this may just sound normal. I got like food level and food exhaustion level. So this is basically all of the information about my player. And lots of things have information in Minecraft. You know, all these guys, they all have information about them. Some special blocks have information stored in them, like command blocks. It stores the command that you typed and all this information here. And that's all data. And data is all structured as NBT. There's the non-binary tag. And you can essentially think of it as a set of key and then value pairs. So, for example, slot here is a key, and the value is 1B, which is a 1. Basically, just a number 1, pretty much. You know, inventory is the key, and then this array, which is what's in the square brackets here, is the value. Now there's very complicated stuff about how it's stored and things like that. You don't need to worry about it. Basically, yeah, it's a key and a value pair. You write your key and you assign it a value, and then that's stored on the entity. With data get, you can get more than just like all of this information. Like this doesn't mean anything to me. Like what the heck is all this? I can't use that for anything, but you can narrow down the data that you get with /data get. So, you know, I could get something like my fall distance, which is going to be how far I've fallen. And you can see I haven't fallen at all because, you know, I'm not falling. But if I was to like get up here and do this, you can see my fall distance changes there. It was about 3 blocks when I hit enter. So yeah, you can narrow down specific tags there. But, you know, not everything is just like a simple number right after it, right? So, you know, that was where is it? That was fall distance, which is just the 00F, but I don't know. What if I wanted to get something, where's my inventory? Here we go. What if I wanted to get something in my inventory? Like you can see I have this husk spawn egg in here, but how would I access that from data get? If I just typed inventory, like you would expect, you know, I get this, but like, that's not very helpful. You know, in a command, I can't tell that this is a husk spawn egg or how much of it I have. That's not very great. You know, you could do something like this. So this is array indexing, right? So your inventory is an array, which is basically, it's just a list of items. You can think of it like a numbered list, but it's a numbered list that starts at 0, not 1, because computer reasons. So, you know, you could say, oh, I want to get the 0 item, which is the first item. That's pretty cool. So there you go. I got the first item, but it's still got all this information about it. I don't know. That's not super helpful. So let me get the ID of the first item. So there you go. Now I can see that I'm holding a husk spawn egg. So you can narrow down data like that. You know, this is fine and all, but what if I had an item in my first slot? What if I had an armadillo spawn egg in my first slot there? And I still want to get that. Well, let me do this. So if I run data get inventory now, you'll see that it looks like this now. And actually the armadillo spawn egg is first. So if I was to run the previous command, well, I get the armadillo spawn egg, but I still want that husk spawn egg. Now, you could do this. You can say, oh, well, you know, get the second item in my inventory. That's the husk item for sure. But, you know, if the husk item was somewhere else in my inventory, that's not super helpful. Yeah, that's not really... It's not great. Like, that is very dependent on where it is in order in my inventory. So, let's say, you know, I just want to, like, check if the player has a husk item in their inventory. You know, how many husk spawn eggs do they have? Boom, look at that. So, we got the count of husk spawn eggs. And now this one, this way of accessing data, I can get the whole data piece there. It doesn't matter where the husk spawn egg is, right? Like, I could swap these around. I could fill my inventory with junk. I'm so used to Bedrock that I keep trying to do that. It's way over here. That would never be index 0, and it still works great. So that's some of Wow, that was a voice crack and a half. That's some of how you can index into arrays and things like that with data. Very handy indeed. Okay. Now you might have also noticed there's something, this little like scale attribute here. Let me get my x position coordinate here. You know, if I get that normally 1.1, whatever, I times it by 5, you can see that it multiplies it by 5, right? And you're like, well, what the heck is the use of that? Well, the use of that is in combination of other commands. So, you know, don't really worry about scale for now. We'll probably talk about it when we get to like execute store and stuff like that, which I still have to figure out how I'm going to do execute, but this is beyond the point. All right, so, you know, you've seen plenty of my player data. Shaders reloaded, nice. You know, all this stuff, but, you know, let's take a look at the data of some other entities here. So if I was to get the data of this guy, if you're looking at an entity, by the way, and you hit tab, it's not always the first option, but you see this huge string of numbers. This is the entity. If you're looking right at him, that's when it'll appear. And then you can autofill it. And, you know, this is the data of a husk. So, you know, it looks a lot like the player's data. And that's because we're both entities, right? So we share a lot of the same information. You know, we both have armor items. Husks don't actually have an inventory. You know, hand items, a rotation, whether they're on ground, a fall distance, you know, a motion, a position, stuff like that. That's all shared between various, you know, entities and things like that. You know, I can get the data of this block here. And you can see it's a lot simpler, right? Because the block doesn't, you know, this block does keep track of its position, but that's a little unusual. You know, it doesn't need as much behavior. It needs to store as much information. This is basically just, you know, the command, say hi, and then sort of what this is. So that's, you know, that's pretty interesting. Now you might have noticed this other one here, storage. We're not going to talk about storage just yet, because it's not useful until you know how to put data in the storage. So don't worry about that. Now I'm going to pull off one final trick here. And I think this is something you might find data to be very useful for. Oops. If I, you know, throw all this stuff in a chest, and let's say I'm like holding this husk spawn egg here, you can get the data of a chest. Boom. As you can see, it's pretty much the only important thing is this list of items here, which is the contents of the chest. It's pretty neat, so you can actually get the contents of a chest. And, you know, let's say I was making some kind of adventure map or something like that, and I wanted to check whether the player had put an item in a chest. So a way you can do that is by just checking if that item is in the chest. So husk, oops, this is not going to work. You'd always need to, when you're checking data, everything always needs to start with the Minecraft : namespace, because that's how Minecraft stores it. Even if you can use just husk spawn egg and commands, it always needs to start with Minecraft : husk spawn egg in data commands. So I can get that, say, oh, well, there's no elements like that, so that doesn't work. I can do this again. Did not work. It's items. I'm spelling wrong. Okay, hold on. So we can run this. Boom, and you can say, you found no elements matching this. It's not in there. It doesn't exist. Okay, that's fine. So that's, you know, the player puts this in here. Huh. Well, there you go. And this counts as a success from a command block's perspective. So if I was to give @s command block, I don't know why I didn't just pick block the one over there. Oops. And I like copied this command in here. You can use Control A and Control V to cut and copy commands. And we made this always active and stuck like a comparator at the end of it here. You see that it is not active, or it is active right now, and I take the husk out and it's not active. So there you go. It's pretty cool. You can check items in chest. How neat is that? How neat is that? All right. Now I'm going to talk about some other stuff. So as you may have noticed, there's a lot of other parts to the data command. So we're talking about merge next. Merge is used to add or replace NVT. It's pretty simple. So let's actually try, you know, something that I want to try with, messing with. You know, we have a motion MBT tag. You might think, well, that, you know, that would be pretty cool to, I don't know, like send myself flying into the air. So let's try and do that. So I mean, like 2.0 or something like that. That'd be pretty cool. Send myself flying. Oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah, you can't modify player data. It's very, very sad for all of us out there. But you can read it, but you cannot change it. So that's very sad. All right. Well, you know, we can't do that with the player, but let's see if we can do it with this guy. Yes, you will suffer my bane of wrath, Mr. Husk. You won't know what hit him. I got a cat here in my nose. I'm so sorry. Ugh. Ah! So yeah, that works pretty well, I would say. That works pretty well. Okay. So you know, we know motion was an existing, you know, tag that was on mobs. But what if we tried to? What if we wanted to like uniquely identify this husk here as like the cool husk? You know, this is the cool husk, man. So what if I just like stuck this in here? I mean, it looks like it's gonna work. It's not gonna complain. We'd hit enter. It's like, okay, all right. That's pretty cool, you know. You can store custom data on the husk. No, in fact, you cannot. It immediately removes those, even though it doesn't throw any errors or anything like that. You cannot actually store custom tags on entities. It's very sad. But you still have things like, you know, tags and things like that. So it's not that important. If you really wanted to modify the data of an entity to put a custom identifiable tag on it, you could do something like this, I guess, which is very interesting. I would not recommend doing that. That is very odd, but there it is. Would not recommend that. You can do it technically though. So yeah, you can't add your own custom tags, but as you may have noticed, this tags field, it's hard to tell, but it wasn't here before, and now it's here. So you can add a specified list of basically allowed tags onto the entity. I'll link the Minecraft Wiki article that has all of the allowed tags for every entity, or for all entities and blocks and things like that. There's a lot, so I'm not going to even talk about it. But, you know, it's there. All right. So that's kind of the gist of, you know, merge. You can basically just stick MBT in an entity. That's kind of nice, I guess. You know, that kind of works. And this does work exactly the same for blocks. So, you know, we know that the command in here is say hi. But, you know, if we did this and, I think the text is command, right? Command. And we made it something like, say, I'm awesome. Because you're so cool. Boom. And now the command is I'm awesome. Say I'm awesome. So works exactly the same for mobs and entities. And now that we know basic merge syntax, we can talk about storage. Oh, I should actually mention, I didn't do this, which is bad. MBT, again, data value pair, always inside these curly brackets, and then, or key value pair, always inside these curly brackets, and then you write your key, and then your value. This, a number, this is another form of a number, this is another form of a number, things like that. You can do a string, you can do another object, you can do an array, anything you want there. And these are all like typical programming terms and stuff like that. So, I don't know, I'd recommend sort of studying up on that on your own. Yeah, I can't do an introductory programming course here. All right, so let's look at merge. Let's look at storage. So storage is essentially a location that you can store NBT on the world. And unlike entities and things like that, you can totally add your own custom tags into storage. So, first you gotta start with the targets. This is basically the name of your storage location. I don't know, let's do like CCMM. So this is like your namespace. It should be unique to you, ideally. So it could be like your username, something you like to go by, something like that. But something that's like uniquely identifiable to you. And then the name of the storage. So let's do, I don't know. Let's just call it tutorial. Easy enough. right? I didn't finish the command. And then you can say the MBT that you want to add into that storage. You can also specify none. It's gonna say, well, nothing changed, you weirdo. Like, what do you expect? And if we try and get a storage, nothing shows up. But, you know, if we actually put something in here, cool. I know why I love the cool tag so much. But we actually put something in there, and then we got the storage. Again, where is that command? Merge storage, get, oh, did I, oh, right, because I never actually did it. Get storage, yeah, there's our storage. So we can get the whole storage, or just like every other data get, we can get specific values there. So yeah, storage is just a location for you to store MBT on the world that you want. You can put whatever the heck you want in there. Works exactly like an entity or a block, other than, yeah, you can put what you want. Fancy. Storage location, like a little database or something like that, or a text file. All right, now let's move on to our favorite data command. Let me get over this guy here. He's gonna be our little test subject. Modify. So modify is modify. So modify can be used to modify existing MBT or add or replace it. So I mean, that kind of sounds a lot like merge. You're probably thinking that. And yeah, it does, and it accomplishes a lot of the same things as merge, but it's a lot more powerful, but also a lot more complicated. So if you want something simple, you just want to like add a single tag to your storage or something like that, use modify, or use use merge. I always get the names mixed up. Use merge. But if you want to do something like copying MBT from one data entity to another, that's where modify is going to come in. So let's look at this here. Let's do entity. From this point onward, everything between entities and blocks is the same. Entity, blocks, and storage is the same. I'm not going to go through it for, you know, both of them either or. They work functionally the same. So, yeah. So, you know, we could do exactly what we did with merge here. So let's say, you know, I wanted to insert, not insert, sorry. No, yeah, insert works. No, yeah, I don't want to insert. I want to set, I want to add a new tag. You know, let's say we want to tag this guy with tags. Hi. So there we go. So as you can see, this is a little more complicated than data merge, right? We have this like empty curly bracket here, and then we're setting a value into this value MBT thing here. That's really weird. It also didn't work. How nice. But that's, you know, this isn't how you're supposed to use data modify. So the better way to do things is to modify data that already exists, like I just said. So this selector here works just like data get, so we can get specific MBT tags. So let's say we wanted to set the motion. We wanted to modify the motion. So we could, you know, set the motion as a value. You know, we can set it to 0.0, 1.0, 0.0 or something like that. You know, we could do that. It's kind of a hassle. Like, you know, isn't there a better way? You know, what if there was a better way that we could do that? Set value to. Oh, that's interesting. That didn't do anything. So if we do this, it'll work. There we go. I needed you for testing. I'm so sorry. Let me go get that husk egg. But data modify is very specific about the type that you're setting. It won't throw an error per se if you set something to the wrong value or wrong type of value. But it won't do anything either, right? So motion is an array of floating point numbers. So basically it's an array of numbers with decimal points. That means that you always need to set it a number with a decimal point. This is not a number with a decimal point. This is an integer. It's actually a completely different type. Very confusing. I'm sorry. It just is the way it is. Yeah, that's very confusing. I apologize about that. Nothing I can do about it because it's the way it is. But, you know, it would give the same error if we tried to set it this value of like high. It's like, What are you talking about? Oh, right, I killed that entity. He's dead now. He doesn't live here anymore. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that to him. I really didn't, but sometimes it has to happen. But you know, I could like try setting motion. Oops. A value of like, you know, yo, and like this isn't gonna do anything. How am I doing that? I keep hitting enter or shift at the same time. It's like, huh? You can't do that. And so, you know, the difference between 2 and 2.0 is essentially the same as trying to set this number to a string value to the computer, right? To you, you're like, what the heck? This is the same thing. But to the computer, 2 and 2.0 are very fundamentally different things, which is confusing. It might take a while to get your head wrapped around that. But just know that, you know, always check /data get. Use it as often as you can. If something isn't working, look at data get and try and copy the value exactly as you see it in data get, right? Yeah, so that's confusing. You know, it might happen. That's okay. It'd be like that. Okay. So I don't have a super great example for what insert, prepend, and append do. So we're just gonna use tags. That's, I'm typing in hiragana. And I'm just gonna use an example. It's not gonna work, but I'm just gonna use it so I can get this to appear. So append is gonna insert an item at the end of the list. It's gonna append something to the end of the list. You know, like you wrote 1 and 2, and then you're like, I'm gonna add 3, right? So it like puts it at the bottom of the list. Insert is gonna let you insert a value into the list wherever you want. So you pick basically an index. So say you have like 1, 2, and 3. You're like, well, I actually want to insert this value at 2. So then you would have 1, 4, 2, and 3 if your like inserting thing was 4. And then prepend is going to insert a value at the very beginning of the list. So you're like, I have 1, 2, and 3. Actually, let me stick something in before 1, right? So that's what those do. Merge is what I should have been doing when I did this example. Here, merge basically functions like data merge, exactly the same. So it's merge value, and then the value is an MBT value. So you can put what you want in there, and that would work. And let's see. Yeah, okay. You know, that's all well and good, but it, you know, it still feels like it's accomplishing essentially the same thing as merge, really. Like, it, I guess, allows you to access some pieces of data easier, but that's not super helpful. So we're gonna, you know, do a little example with position that I think is going to make it very obvious why you might want to use modify instead of merge. So I'm gonna set this zombie's, let's do this. Let's fly up a little bit. You'll see. We're gonna set the zombie's Y position, which is position 1. Oops, I'm in Git somehow. We're gonna set the zombie's Y position. We're gonna set it, and we're not gonna set it to a value. We're gonna set it from, we're gonna set it from me, from entity add s. We're gonna set it from my position 1. Because it was kind of off the screen there, but I typed position 1. Isn't that neat? So yeah, so you can modify, actually lets you copy MBT from one entity block, whatever, storage, to another entity block, storage, whatever. So yeah, I can set entity's position to my position. I can set entity's motion to my motion. I could set my inventory. I could set entity's inventory to my inventory. In fact, I can do that. Let me do this. Hand items 0 set from entity at s inventory. I'm gonna be lazy. 0. What? He's got my husk egg, and this would have copied everything like the name of the husk egg if it had a custom name and any enchantments and things like that. That's pretty cool. So yeah, modify actually lets you copy data from one location to another. And you might have also noticed that there's this other, if we use set, there's from, which, you know, is from one location to another. I don't know why the autofill is way over there, but there's also string. That's kind of interesting. So what I want to do is, you know, let's say that, you know, you want to change the command in this command block here. So data modify block, you know, this guy here, we want to set its command. We want to set it to, and set it, and it is a string, so we can set it as a string. You know, let's tag equals not. You know, we got there's actually a husk. The other husk over there has a tag equals not. You know, that's a, you know, what if we set this command to his custom name? Like, is that gonna work, or is that gonna do something weird? Oh, would you look at that? The command is now not so cool guy. Well. That's pretty interesting. Okay. So let's delete that. I don't think I deleted it. No, I didn't. That's fine. Doesn't matter. You know, but that's the same basically as data set from, like, we just copied it from one guy to another. But, you know, we could actually do a little more of that. So instead, let's actually put an 8 here. And you'll see, we got cool guy. We skipped all the not so part. Trust me, I didn't delete it manually, okay? Like, it's from the dude. All right. What if I did this? That was -1. Oh, we got rid of that quote at the end there, huh? Oh, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. What do you know? Yeah, so this basically lets you, you know, pick apart pieces of strings and things like that as you're moving it from entity to entity. So you can do very fancy stuff like setting the command in a command block from an entity's name, if you really wanted to. If you're crazy like that, I guess. It's for very advanced usage. But that does some pretty cool stuff. And that is pretty much data modify. Again, all of this works exactly the same for blocks, entities, and storage. So keep that. You couldn't see, my hand was like way over here. It all works for the same for blocks, entities, and storage. So yeah, keep that in mind. But finally, you might have noticed that there was a remove here. So if I wanted to just, I don't know, say remove that thing that I had in tutorial, I need to specify it there. I need to specify it stop high, path high, like that. And then we went to data get storage, CCM tutorial. Bye high. It was removed. We can also remove cool. And you'll see if you try and get CCM tutorial, it's nothing. He's gone. He's dead, Jim. Yeah, that is /data. This is the longest video in this series so far. I hope you guys did enjoy. Remember to leave a like down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. We've got lots more of these coming. And I hope you enjoyed. Wow, that was good. Bye.